This is the Lotus Bloom Podcast. And here is your host, Morgan Wylie.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Lotus Bloom Podcast. I'm your host, Morgan Wylie, and this is a new segment I'm calling It's Time to Write. Because guess what? Morgan's writing a new book. So I thought it would be fun to bring you along this journey with me. I've never done this before. I'm usually a very closed off writer, whereas I just kind of hunker down. I don't usually share too much of my process and what I'm going through as I'm writing, but I thought this may be the last book in this series that I'm writing, and I wanted to share it with you. I wanted to try something different. I'm about to start book 5 in the Age of Elandria series. It is my young adult fantasy series, and it's called The Soul Lumieth. Now, if you're not familiar with my series at all, this name won't mean anything to you, but if you have been a reader, you discover in book 3 a little bit more about who this title applies to. Anyways, I digress. I thought it would be fun to take just 5 minutes or so, give or take, and just share with you my process, maybe some tips that I've learned, and what I'm working on. So for now, I thought I'd just share with you because it has been 2 years since I released Fading Light, which is book 4, and it's been this long for many reasons. One, I was working on some other projects. I had the opportunity to write in the Havenwood Falls world, and I loved doing that. During that same time, in the last 3 years, we went through a season of focusing on our families and health issues, and my mother-in-law was facing cancer treatments and ultimately ended up passing away a year and a half later. At the same time, I had my second daughter. So as you might imagine, there were a roller coaster of emotions and changes and stresses and also joys and new things. But it was highs and lows, and being creative during that time, as much as it was a saving outlet for myself, it also had to be in short spurts. So working with Havenwood Falls was perfect because they were shorter novella style books, which are usually, if this may not mean anything to you, but they're usually about 30,000 words, which in a long form novel, it's about a third of a book, depending on what genre you write in or are reading in. So usually about 9 to 12 chapters for me. That's usually where it hits. But anyways, those were great because I still needed a creative outlet. I loved writing in them, and so it brought me joy and kept me on track with writing. But at the same time, I was unable to also work on my own world, which was Elandria. So I took some time off from that, and I am finally ready to begin writing again in Elandria, and I'm excited about it. I feel a new joy and a new inspiration, and it's been calling to me, which maybe that sounds weird, but I feel it in my soul that it's time to be back there and to write and to give these characters an end to their journey and some resolve to all of the challenges and the trials they've been facing, to bring them some truths and joys and victories and all the things. And so I'm very excited to get back into that. So I wanted to bring you along and share my process and my journey with you. And I hope that this is fun. I hope that you enjoy it. And we'll keep them short, bite-sized chunks of maybe some tips and just my process. So I hope that you follow along this journey with me. Because for now, it's time to write.